attached to this project. Is that correct?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, did you have the choice for which part you want to play, or was it pretty much set that you should play Joyce in this movie?
When I read the script, I actually read it originally. They gave it to me for Amy, but I liked the role of Joyce better for me. I thought it was more interesting for me.
I mean, that's the interesting concept about the story. We have pretty much the good girl and the bad girl, if you wanna say so. Mm-hmm. What was it with the bad girl that interested you so much in this case?
I just always think first of all, it's always fun, I guess, to play a bad girl, but it's not really that black and white. And I think that's what's so interesting about the movie is nobody is who they seem, and I don't really think of Joyce as being a bad girl. I think of her as being sad more, and I loved her pain and kind of how it manifests into her, sort of, or provoking the love of her life to kill her.
I mean, this story is not a murder story. This story is not only about crime and mystery. It has different layers. How would you sum it up for someone who hasn't read the book, who hasn't seen the other movie, which was made in 1976? How would you sum it up in a few words?
Wow. I don't know if you can really sum up this movie in a few words. I think that's what also makes it so interesting, because it's not just a one-liner. It's not an action comedy or a drama, murder mystery. It's a really complicated tale of different people that their paths cross, and they're all kind of grounded in something dark. I think everyone has a darkness, and this movie is about kind of digging into people confronting their biggest fears and their darkness. And I know that didn't answer the question at all, and I'm sorry about that, but I don't really know how to answer it.
I think it goes in a good direction, because I think the story is not more a straightforward story. It's more a metaphor on human psyche. So I think so that's why your answer is pretty much going in the right direction. But where does Joyce come in this whole complex? I mean, what's her role in that?
Joyce, I think everyone creates their own reality, and certainly their own destiny. I do believe that whatever it is you put out in the world, you get back, and she really is. I think when she meets him and she knows that there isn't a version where they could ever really live happily ever after with the white picket fence and all that, she just needs to be destroyed, or destroy it, and let it be as perfect as it is, and kind of kill it before it goes south. So she's almost like, before the flame sort of burns out, she's at the peak of their relationship, and it's destroyed. So it's always remembered as something passionate and extreme. I don't know.
I mean, we were talking about it outside, at least on the internet, with many false rumors. It has been stated that you refused to play those kind of parts as a hooker in the past. So, is that true? Or if it's true, what made you change your mind for Michael Winterbottom then?
I really don't look at movies or at characters based off of whether someone is, a hooker or a girl that works at a gas station or whatever it is. I think I always come at it from the character's point of view and kind of their motivation and what's driving them throughout the story. So it wasn't really about what Joyce did for a living that drew me to the role. Michael Winterbottom's an amazing director. Every movie he's done has been great. He's just really good. He's a great visionary. He knows how to tell stories. He knows how to get into the nuances of characters where you can identify with everybody in the story, and it feels layered and real. So I knew that this is a very complex story, and it needs someone who is complex and intelligent. And I think those two elements were really why I was drawn to the story.
I mean, that's what stuck with me when I read the screenplay, that this role it might be sexy, it might be a hooker, but in the end it's a character role which needs a lot of intention and effort from you as an actress. I mean, is that the ideal scenario for you, to play something where it's not only about the sexiness, where it might be incorporated in the part, but what's most important is the character which is present?
I mean, people put sexiness on everything, whether it's, a Dove soap commercial or orange juice or, whatever it is. People can put sexuality on it because sex sells, but that's by no means, I think, certainly for me, what makes anything interesting. It's such a simple way to break it down. Even when reading it, there's more nudity, I think, with Amy, the quote-unquote good girl, and there's more sex happening actively with her character than my character. So if you're going to break it down with that, sort of in that way, I'm actually playing the more conservative of the two roles.
I mean, you mentioned before that Michael Winterbottom is really good in bringing out the nuances in a script. What is the actual working process like with him in terms of collaborating, working with the actress?
What's great is he hates everything we hate. He hates lines, he hates line readings, he hates it when a scene feels stagnant or rehearsed, or when you feel like you're acting or doing a movie. All the things that us as actors, we're always fighting. It seems like we always have to fight with, the director or the producers or the writers to make it more real and more authentic. He has just a great sense of what that is, and he respects it, and he knows how to identify nuances and characters like nobody I've ever worked with. And he does it, I think, also by a lot of improv. He allows actors to just kind of play, and if a line doesn't feel right, kind of fudge it around until it feels right, and shorten the scene or make it longer. He just has really great instincts, and he trusts them. He's quite confident, so that helps too.
I mean, how difficult was it for you to get into the mind of in the screenplay portrayed characters? I know you moved a lot during your childhood, then during your upbringing you spent some time in Texas, where the story is set. I mean, do you know these kind of people, or do you remember these kind of people? Are they very real life?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody I hope feels relatable in some way, but I didn't know anybody like this specifically when I lived in Texas. I lived in Mississippi and Texas, when I was a kid until I was about 9. There's just a properness with the South that you don't really have other places, and I think it's a nice setting because men and women talk differently to each other than they do in other places. They're a bit more reserved.
And did you do any other research, any other reading, talking to people to get yourself immersed into the character, or was basically just reading the screenplay and talking to Michael Winterbottom enough for you to?
No, an acting coach I go to. I kind of live with the character and find draw from my own experiences and try to relate them to hers.
But it's tricky in this case, right? I mean, this seems to be very far away from your own self.
I don't know. I mean, isn't that the fun of acting? Is that we get to kind of play people that we are. I live a very, very public, very safe, very pretty reserved, pretty confined existence, and you know, you have total freedom on a set. That's the point.
But the problem is that people see it afterwards. So how did you deal? You said Kate Hudson's role was maybe more outgoing than yours. But how did you deal with the nudity? I mean, you have a closed set, but afterwards everyone sees it. So I mean, how much thinking is happening there beforehand, and how much do you have to convince yourself to be that free in front of a camera?
I'm not naked.
Not at all. But you have to kind of juggle the scenes around it, because when just by reading the screenplay, it reads very outgoing. And,
yeah, it's tricky.
Michael Winterbottom said that it's often fairly simple why a movie works. That it's basically you can bring it down to a few facts. What do you think is it in this case which makes the story so intense?
Like I said, he trusts his instincts and he has good ones. And I think for him it's easy. For other people who aren't maybe as in touch with themselves as people or other people, it might be more difficult. But he's quite connected as a person, so I think it makes it easier for him probably to break it down and figure out, you know, why a movie being good or not, how he can make it great.
I mean,
it's about, I think, like you said, like sort of breaking down people's psychosis and understanding it and being fearless and going there.
I mean, I think it really helps the whole atmosphere just by being there for a few hours, and you shoot the movie close to where the story really happened, here in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I know Michael Winterbottom always referred in interviews to the fact that he likes if actors respond to places in which they are performing. I mean, which responses did you get out of this area here in Oklahoma?
There's like a down-home vibe here. You feel like people don't need to lock their front doors. Everybody knows their neighbor. You feel like everybody's kind of knows everyone else's business. It's like a small town kind of feeling. I like it. The people are super friendly. Everyone looks at you in the eye and says hello, how's your day, and they care. They actually want to know. So yeah, being immersed in that kind of environment certainly helps.
How many days did you spend here, and how many shooting days did you have in total?
I've only been here one day.
Okay, so that's
2
very
days.
easy.
Yeah. But, you know, living in Texas, it's a similar vibe.
I mean, you once said, maybe it's also a wrong quote, which can happen very easily nowadays, yeah. But I just quote you, I never wanted to be a girly girl, but more a tough cookie. Did you say it or not?
When I was young, I was a tomboy, you know, I played sports and I always tried to one-up the boys and prove to them that girls were just as capable as they were.
I mean, that's also something you have to probably prove every day in Hollywood, even if you have a reputation, that you're not being offered the stupid, silly parts that, you know, like where you don't feel portrayed well. We were talking about before, about character roles. I mean, is this role going into the direction where you say, well, this enables me to be, let's say, so a tough cookie, this is where I feel represented well as an actress?
I think if you're doing a character that you care about and you're working with a director that you respect, yeah, you're probably doing the right thing. I was